Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Yeah, don't mind my nails. They do look pretty busted and crusty, but they've been through a lot this week from painting and water damage. So yeah, there was not much hope for them, but at least with this nail design, it perked them right back up, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we're using Valentino's 212 as well as Nayeli's nails, First Love, Valentino's 128, Super White, and Raspberry Cream Cheese for this set. I did show crystals, but then I changed my mind at the end. I kept going back and forth about using them, so just to disregard that if you see that in the video. But obviously first I'm prepping and priming my nails with Valentino, and I know I only have one nail with a tip on, but I was unsure if I was gonna have enough time to record like the whole set at this moment, so that's why I started with one nail and I proceed on, to the other nails after. But I double coat my primer like I always do. Do you guys like my dapper dish? I saw it on Amazon and I was so in love with it. I was like, I need to have this in my life. And I'm actually pretty happy I got it. My brush, for some reason, had like some leftover acrylic in it. I don't know what was going on. That's why I was like fighting with it for a little bit. But after a while, it kind of broke down a little bit. I must not have wiped it out the last time I did a set on somebody. I don't know. Am I the only one who has this where you feel like your brush takes like a good minute to be broken into? Because like I have bought in really nice brushes that are pricey and I don't like them at first, and it's always like after amount of time of using it, then I'm like, man, this brush is so amazing. And that's how I felt with this brush. I wasn't happy with it at first, but now I'm like, ooh, I love this brush. So first I'm doing my clear coat because when I file down, which is why some of my nails look kind of funny because I do have old clear acrylic on them, but I do this so that it makes my file down process a lot faster, and then I can kind of switch out my designs. So that is what I was doing there, and now we're just going to create a smile line using a Raspberry Cream Cheese Cover Color by Valentino. And I'm just placing it right at my free edge, well, a little bit past my free edge, and I'm just bringing it down. Now, when doing a French smile line, always bring it further than what you think you need it, and always point it more than you think you need it, because I feel like a lot of times we doubt ourselves and we think, oh, it's fine, and then we end up filing it and we're like, man, we should have gone further, or it doesn't look as refined and pretty as you see like as Instagram worthy ones. So just that's my tip of advice. So obviously I'm bringing it as close as I can to the cuticle area. I place it down and I try to pat, and then I swipe down. And I'm still working on my camera angles. I'm really trying. I figured out this weekend, not with this video, but with another video recorded, my best angle for recording. So I'm going to try to incorporate that next time in my videos to see if that makes a difference for you guys. Now, with the free edge of your French, you can choose to file it. I actually meant to, but I didn't file it, but it actually worked out perfectly. Honestly, I think a lot of it comes with confidence, and if it looks straight, most likely it's straight. Just trust your gut by the way it looks overall. But you can still file it to have it more crisp. But I was actually shocked how smooth it came out because I didn't file it, and I realized after, I was like, oh my god, I did not file it. I was so frustrated with myself, and then I was like, oh, it looks pretty good. So now I'm taking 212 and I'm placing it super close to the free edge, and I'm bringing it up all the way up to my side walls as possible because I want it to look like that color is starting from the very half point of my fingernail. And then I'm kind of slightly ombreing it down and cleaning it up around the French so that when it does get filed, it looks clean regardless, because I obviously didn't file it before, so I got to make sure it looks clean either way. But yeah, I ombreed the pink slightly, but I didn't do it like crazy because I knew I was putting this glitter down, the 128 by Valentino. And then I also placed some of Nayeli's First Love glitter down just to give myself a little bit of extra thick glitter to kind of hide the not so great ombre, because I guess I wasn't trying to really ombre it, but I was just trying to bring the color down. I wanted it to kind of just be barely there. And so that's what I did. And the heart kind of helps transition everything. I think it's so pretty. It worked out. At first I wasn't sure about using like chunky glitter on such a small space, but it worked out. And then I'm using a wet bead to cover over that because I don't want any air bubbles or anything in it. I want it to look pretty smooth and pretty transparent. Okay, so I just am pretty much finishing up putting a clear coat on all of these nails. And like I said, if any of them look lumpy bumpy, it's because they already have some clear on them. But that's all I did. So they already have like their prep and prime and stuff. I was like, don't need to bore them with that. They've seen that probably 50 billion times on YouTube. So with my, let's see, what finger are we going to start with? With my ring finger, my middle finger. I'm taking the 128, which I said previously wrong a second ago, but I'm taking this color. So for me, it always takes me a second to kind of like, oh, how is this acrylic going to respond and so forth. Sometimes the colors that are really pigmented work out really easy as far as applying to the nails, and then sometimes it's like really difficult as far as like how much liquid into ratio. So it's kind of just like getting that feel down on the first bead, and I kind of went a little bit too big initially in my opinion for the first bead to get a feel of it, but either way we make it work. But Valentino, I feel like either way, like they've really upgraded their pigment colors when it comes to like their colors, because sometimes they come off a little bit more chalky, but I feel like they are starting to become more smooth and consistent. Either way, I'm a huge fan, clearly. So I'm just cleaning up that area a little bit because obviously it was trying to run in my cuticle. And if you guys hear any noise in the background, it's just a white noise machine, so just ignore it. But yeah, and then I was making sure I got my sidewall because it was kind of hard for me to see at certain angles. So I was like, oh, let me make sure I'm covering all sides. Because does that bug you when you see other people on YouTube recording and the side that they can't see, they miss? And it's obvious and you're just like, you forgot that side. You forgot that side. Now I just barely added some of the glitter from 212, just lightly. I just wanted it barely there because I was planning on adding designs on top of that nail. So now going on to the pointer finger, I'm just ombreing this color slightly down from the middle point of my nail bed all the way down to the tip, and then I'm adding 212 as well onto the tip of this nail. I wanted all the nails to be very cohesive with each other. I didn't want them to feel like one was out of place. And then I kind of just went on to the next to my pinky nail because I wanted to give that time to that glitter to dry so that I could shape it up a little bit more after. So on to my pinky, I added 212 and then a tiny bit of 128 just to slightly marble it to just give it a little bit more pigmentation. Then we went into First Love by Naomi's Acrylics, and we added a heart as well to this one and a little bit of the chunky glitter parts of it. Excuse me. And then obviously we're refining that nail so that it can be nice and sharp. I think my biggest downfall when it comes to doing nails sometimes is being very impatient with the acrylic and kind of letting it do its thing. Like, it's like when I place it down, I just want it to do what I want it to do. And I have to remember like temperature, liquid ratio, everything can make your acrylic work and not work. So it's about just being really patient with it to shape it up properly. And sometimes I just want to work really fast, and then it actually makes me take 10 times longer because I'm being impatient. So just remember that. Be patient with your acrylic. Listen to your acrylic. Even though I know that makes no sense. Now I'm taking a raspberry cream cheese and I'm applying that to make an ombre nail. Now, raspberry cream cheese is slightly translucent somewhat, so I knew that my transition of ombre wasn't going to be perfect regardless, because the color underneath was so pigmented and so bright that it was going to be a hard transition. But regardless of fact, I still wanted that color, so I made it work. And either way, I knew that this nail was going to have a design on it, so I knew it didn't have to be like crazy perfect. So if you can still see it peeking through somewhat, it doesn't really affect the InDesign either way. And then as well, I'm taking the raspberry cream cheese and I'm placing that on my pinky nail as well. I just slide it up to my cuticle and then I drag it back down with the rest of the ombre. And now I didn't want to like put the ombre too much on the glitter, so I'm barely trying to pull it down as much as I can. Like, I'm trying to bring it maybe halfway point to that tip. I don't want to bring it past that because I don't want to lose any of my glitter or dull it out by putting another color over it. So now we're going to be moving on to the thumb. And yes, you guys, I know my thumb is short. If you haven't tried it, if you have a very active life in the sense you have to use your hands a lot, I recommend doing your thumb short and see if that makes a difference, because it just makes such a huge difference for me. Like, I feel like I can do everything that I was doing before, but with my thumb being short, I don't know, it just makes it work. But if I do my thumb long, it just doesn't work. I don't know what that is, but anyway, I know it looks short, and to me, it doesn't really ruin the design personally on myself. And plus, the thumb's kind of forgotten, and it's always the thumb that I feel like when I'm planning nail designs or I have clients, we always are like, oh, what should we do with the thumb? You know, because it's not really ever shown in any of the pictures, really, anyway. It's always the 4 front fingers that are pretty much the money pieces, you know, like they're the ones that everyone's looking at. No one cares about the thumb. But anyway, so this finger started out with 2 hearts, but at the end you're gonna realize it has 1. I don't know what happened here. Somehow, I don't know, I thinned it out way more than I wanted to, because I feel like when you have a short nail, when it looks too thick, it on a short nail, it just looks so bad. So I was not about that life. So I was like, you're gonna be filed down. But I still have some glitter on it and some of the hearts and stuff. And I also put a tiny bit of 128 on it so that it had a slight sparkle. So here I'm just doing my clear coat, which is actually my favorite process. I don't know what about it. It's very therapeutic. I like watching other people do it on their nails. Now, if I'm not being impatient and my acrylic's working just right, it's just like an moment for me. Like, it's just so satisfying to like shape it up and add that clear on there. My biggest pet peeve when I'm doing clear acrylic is if I have a color, especially like black or dark, and I apply the clear coat and I can see bubbles in it. Like, am I the only one it drives mad? And I'll be trying to like dig them out, and then I just dig myself into a grave because my nail looks like a hot mess after that. So when I should have just left it alone. But yeah, this is just me fiddling and trying to make it perfect and adding my clear acrylic. So I'll just let you guys enjoy this satisfying clear application, and I'll just be quiet. So these are my nails, filed and clear coated. I know I skipped all of those steps. So now I'm going to be adding some flowers. I was actually struggling a little bit with this because this is a brand new brush that I got from Valentino. And I'm pretty sure when I purchased it, it was supposed to be for sculpting like this, but it just felt weird. Like it just wasn't working. So I kept like switching back and forth with two different brushes. So if you notice that, that's why. But I was like, I couldn't get the right feel of the brush. Like it felt too soft. Like it wasn't holding I was having issues with the whole amount of liquid it would hold. It didn't hold that much liquid, and then it felt too soft, which is weird. And then my other brush held a lot of liquid. It was like too much liquid, so I was like going back and forth dealing with it. So if you see me fiddling and faddling, that's why. But either way, it still worked out. They still came out cute, and it's been a minute since I did some flowers up on my nails or anyone else's, so I kind of had to like get my feel of it again. But they looked cute, so I'm just gonna let you guys watch this process. I'm not gonna talk the whole way through, and I will talk to you at the end of this video. So, this was the end result. You guys, I was so in love. I was like oohing and awing over them. I just love the way they came out. Like I told you before, you can't really tell with the whole ombre with that fingernail. It just worked out so perfectly. I really hope you guys really like this design, and I hope you guys come back for more. I was inspired by a YouTuber and then someone's IG with the way I came with the designs. I kind of mixed up two different ones, but I really hope you guys liked it. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.